He's a doctor. He's 48.
That's almost 50. How tall?
5'11".
Is he actually 5'11" or is he actually 5'9" and is lying? I'm just asking for the bare minimum. I'm trying to settle.
All right, 40, single, and picky. Now, I came across this video of a scene from a movie called The Materialist, and I wanted to react to it and get your guys' view on it, and then I'm gonna give you my point of view in addition. Check it out.
He doesn't want a second date?
No.
He's balding. How fucking dare he?
Dating is a risk. You took a risk. It's brave.
Why did you set me up with someone like that?
He checked a lot of our boxes. And you checked a lot of his. So onwards and upwards. Let's talk about your next match. I have an amazing guy for you. His name is Mark. He's a doctor. He's very handsome. He has a full head of hair. He's 48.
That's almost 50.
He looks great for 48. He's very fit. He looks like he's 40.
How tall?
5'11".
Is he actually 5'11" or is he actually 5'9" and is lying?
What's a couple inches?
I don't want to waste my time. I am not asking for a miracle. I'm just asking for the bare minimum. I'm trying to settle.
All right, folks. The reason I wanted to react to this video, which of course I know is just a movie skip, but I think it's also a reality in real life, right? And the reason I wanted to react to it is because I think that there's a lot of older women that are dealing with this right now, right? And the next thing I wanted to say is that being a man that's 54 years old, right? To me, it's a red flag when you meet a woman that's 40 years old and single. And please let me know in the comments if you agree. But to me, that's a red flag, 40 years old and single. The second thing I want to say is that there's nothing wrong with a bald man. There's a lot of women out there that like bald men. My wife in particular. And, I'm not completely bald. I shave my head because I got a bald spot in the back. But with that said, listen, this individual hired a relationship expert to help her find a relationship. Okay. From what you can see in the scene in the beginning, obviously there was a first date with an individual and the individual didn't want to have a second date. So what I would say to that is that maybe the guy didn't find you attractive. Isn't physical attraction one of the biggest things in meeting somebody and seeing somebody for the first time? Maybe he didn't like you. Would she have preferred that the individual that she went on that date with went on a second date and they had sex and then he never contacted her again? You know what I'm saying? Like a pump and dump type thing. You know what I mean? The other thing is I find it interesting that when she's telling her that she's got the perfect next guy for her, he's a doctor, he's 48 years old, she's like, oh, that's almost 50. Instead of focusing on the fact that the guy is a doctor and he's established, she's focusing on the age, even though she's in her 40s, 40, let's say 40. So that's an 8-year difference. Who cares? The guy's established and the relationship expert says he looks like he's 40. He's in great shape. But no, instead of her focusing on that, she's focusing on the fact that he's almost 50. Then she asks, how tall is he? Right? She says 5'11". The relationship expert says 5'11". She goes, is he really 5'11" or is he 5'9" and he's lying? Like, come on, man. If you're paying for a relationship expert to help you find somebody, why are you throwing all these negative things out there? And just the fact, well, hold on, I'll get to that in a minute. So, she's telling her, the relationship expert is telling her, I mean, what's a couple of inches? Well, I don't want to waste my time. I'm trying to settle. I'm not asking for a miracle. Right. And then the biggest thing for me is when she says at the end that she's trying to settle. Okay, well, if you're trying to settle, then settle for that established 48-year-old doctor that is 5'11", 1 inch away from 6 feet. At this point in her life, or any woman at this age who's in the same scenario, at this point in your life, you have to be kind of picky, right? Because a woman's value diminishes physically, diminishes the older she gets. And a man's value grows because he builds on his assets. He builds on, he still has that stamina as a man. For example, a 70-year-old man can still impregnate a woman and have a child, right? She's probably going to be in her 20s or 30s, right? He can still do it. A woman that's 70 years old, the probability or the chance of her having a child at 70 years old or getting impregnated are very low, all right? At 40, it's a high risk. 45, 50, the higher it goes, it's a higher risk. I'm not saying that it hasn't happened, but I'm just saying that this individual or individuals like this need to realize that they can't be so picky. And if you're trying to settle and the relationship expert is finding you somebody, or you meet somebody, forget about the scenario, the movie scenario, or you're in that situation in reality, in life, and you meet an individual that is a doctor that's 48 years old, he's already established, and maybe you're 6 years younger than him. Hey, that seems like one of the best scenarios you're going to fall on right now in your life. All right. And that's all I want to say. And with that said, I'll see you guys in the next video in addition.